Hi, my name is Annamieka, and this is the Art Friends Show, where every conversation focuses on getting to know the essence of creativity itself. I'd love to invite you as well to join me inside of Art Friends School, where we go deeper into these topics and join in with other art friends around the world. Thanks so much for joining us, and let's get to the show. Welcome to the Art Friends Show. Here's someone cool that you're gonna love to know. This is Daria Matza. She is a filmmaker here in Portland, Oregon. I'm Annamieka. I'm the host of the Art Friends Show, an artist, and I teach the Art Friends School online. I'm so excited for you to get to meet Daria and hear about her understanding and experience of creativity itself. So can you just introduce yourself a little bit and we'll get into it?
I'm Daria. I'm a filmmaker and I teach filmmaking. And then I would say, like, as my art hobby, not what I make a living doing, I do pottery. I love it.
Yeah, so she has a ceramics studio set up on her property, and then is a professor at the college here and teaches. Currently, you teach video editing in the film studies department.
Yeah, and I would say my true passion is in documentary, but I kind of have done a little bit of everything.
Yes, and we're currently, if you hear a bit of aquatic fun, we're at a pool with our kids, and we're doing this interview, so that's the vibe. So, all right, I'd love to hear, you were talking about, let's just start there with how your relationship to creativity itself has felt.
Yeah, I mean, what I was talking to you about, I think that is like my deepest desire of my creativity is that things come to me instead of, and then through me, but not like through me from a place of ego. So, I mean, we were talking about like the Elizabeth Gilbert idea of like how there's fairy sprites that like come with you with these ideas that need to be birthed. And I like to think of creativity often as like these little sprites going around and like planting ideas in people and like seeing who's gonna be open enough, like who's not stressed out enough in their world to hear it.
Yes.
And I find in my own world, like if I'm quiet inside, I can hear those things or they come to me. But when I'm really busy with mothering work, all the things, like those ideas don't come. And I think my desire is that like I'm an open vessel for the like, I know that sounds cheesy, but I still feel that way.
Dude, I follow you all the way to the idea of like, you know, ideas being placed by, you know, some kind of consciousness that's beyond our perception and the way that we're vessels. You got a little bit of sandwich there. I got you.
Thanks. You made a delicious sandwich.
We were just picnicking. I think that the idea of being an open vessel, like I've been playing with this idea that if I'm in motion, you know, it's like surfing or something like that. Like if I'm in motion, the wave can more easily collaborate with me. And I feel like that with creative projects. If I'm you know, keeping the vessel open, I'm practicing staying in motion, then it's like taking an idea and running with it. Wow, there's so many catchphrases here, but you know what I mean? Is more possible or more primed for it.
Yeah, I've also had the experience, though, of, like, if you think of that idea as, like, a cosmic whisper, like, hey, Mika, you should do this painting. You should do this painting. And then you're like, oh, I got to feed my kid. I gotta go, I gotta that. But then, like, sometimes I've had the experience where a friend of mine used to call it, like, the cosmic 2x4. Where it's like, Mika, you better do this thing, you know? And, like, just making it so damn obvious that, like, this is a creative work you're supposed to be doing in this moment.
Yes.
I could tell you a good story.
I want to hear this story.
Okay.
She has got so many good stories. I'm so happy we get to hear some of them today.
So, my mom had died, and
What year was that?
Oh my gosh, isn't it weird to not remember the year? It's like
9
years ago.
The healing process. I salute the healing process. Okay,
about
so
9 years ago.
Okay.
And I was really depressed, and my husband's also a filmmaker, and he was like, we got to get you out of this house. And I had, in kind of the months had swirled around, this image of a man rowing a pumpkin.
Of course.
Like in the water.
This is when
and
you
I'm a
know
water
it's
baby.
really specific.
Yeah, I'm a water baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that looks cool and magical. Like, what is this?
Uh-huh.
And my documentary mind was like, is this a movie? Like, what is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
So I had sent out all these emails to like a bunch of these pumpkin growing clubs, and heard nothing back. And I was like, of course, yes, the world is dark and depressing. You know,
because you were in a depression.
I was in a depression.
Yeah.
So my husband's like, again, let's get out of here. We drive to see his family in Utah, and we're in Utah. We had our film equipment with us, and I get a phone call, and this guy's like, I'm so sorry it took me so long to get back to you. I'm the president of the Pumpkin Club in in Utah. Shout out to Kyle Fox.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk to you. And so I'm like, oh, hey, we're like 45 minutes away. Can we come out and interview you and your wife?
So he had no idea you were in Utah?
Not at the moment.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we drove out and we met children swimming.
Our girls are playing.
Yeah. We met them, and it was like an immediate yes. Like, do this. And then we did the interview. They were wonderful people. They are wonderful people. And there was a lot of stories coming out. And we were driving back to my husband's aunt's house. And I'm like, Mark, I don't know if there's a movie here. This is fun. He was like, doesn't matter. Keep going.
Yes.
Just keep going. There's a light.
Mark.
There's a light in you. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
That's the point. That's the point of this project.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally. So
I'll be right back. You keep telling your story.
Okay.
Here,
So the best part of the story is we started making the movie, and it was so easy. Like, things were happening very easily. And then pumpkins started growing in our yard. We had not planted them. They just were like spontaneously growing all over our yard. And it was a wonderful project, and it really helped lift me out of this dark state I was in. And if you want to see the movie, it's called Rise of the Giants, and you can see the trailer online.
I haven't seen it. Let's have a party.
Let's have a viewing party. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fun. So and then I've had that desire since of being like, okay, send me something else. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had a couple, but I really love that process.
I love that process was such a clear experience of how healing it is to follow that nudge.
Yeah.
And then affirming when like the synchronicities come in and you happen to be in this.
Motherhood.
All right. So
I would also just add one other thing about that. It's like when it comes like that, the filmmaking's expensive. So sometimes you feel like you have to make money off your work.
Totally.
And I feel like when it comes from somewhere else, the pressure of that feels lighter. And I actually probably made more money on that film than a lot of my other pieces, but it's just like, it's not coming from that ego or that like, I gotta,
like
it's
the
like,
direct like connection of this is about me and my worth. Or that's really cool.
I'm just showing up, you know, like, okay, you need me to keep going. I'm going to show up and do the skills I have.
Like, you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Like, then make it happen.
Or like, do this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, currently right now, just describe kind of what you're doing creatively, where it's exciting, where it's frustrating, and then kind of where you're growing.
Yeah. I'm still teaching a lot, and then I would say in filmmaking, I did have an idea kind of come to me in this way a couple of years ago. So this would be my first narrative short film that I'm going to direct, and I've written the script, and I'm going to hopefully make it in the fall.
It's really cool. I got to read the script.
Yeah, and then I'm helping some a local filmmaker produce her project, which we're shooting in July, and then trying to throw really big bowls.
Like on the pottery wheel. On the pottery wheel. Are you involved in Women in Film?
Yeah, I'm on the board.
Yeah, you're on the board of Women in Film.
Yeah.
Is that, what region is that?
It is Southwest what is it?
It's okay. We can come back
Southwest Washington and Portland.
Cool.
Yeah.
So like Vancouver, Portland, Metro.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And we have monthly happy hours where you can connect with other filmmakers.
Amazing. Yeah. So, thank you so much for coming on the Archive. Sorry, I'm doing that awkward pause of like, where are we going? Is there, anything else you want to say, or to like people who are up and coming filmmakers, because you are a teacher. What's it like for you being a teacher in your field?
I think it's inspiring. It's really amazing to watch people birth their stories, and I'm right now teaching something very technical, and it's really fun to like see something technical be used for something creative. For me, it's kind of two sides of your brain.
Yeah.
So like, how do you take an Excel spreadsheet and a Word document and like make something larger,
this like evocative piece of film?
Yeah, and they kind of need each other. So I really love watching students. I have some really inspiring students right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What is it like for students who are, and we can also end at any time because our girls are going to go off like the ticking bomb. But when people are just getting into film right now with all this content that's happening, with the kind of everybody has a very simple filmmaking studio in their pocket at all times.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, what's your goal? Like, do you have stories you think the world needs? And if that's the case, like, get on your phone, create it, put it out there. I mean, it's people always say like, oh, it's harder to be a filmmaker because everyone has a camera on their phone, but everyone also has a distributor. Like, we didn't before. It was really hard to get your work out there. Yeah, and now you're like, publish. And right now we're going to publish this.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2 people already watching the show right now.
So in a lot of ways, like, having an audience is easier.
Yeah.
And I've really loved seeing people like get really specific with their niche. Like, my husband just made a film with his class that's like an H.P. Lovecraft story. And there's like super fans of H.P. Lovecraft. And so it has had a festival run. It's had all this thing because all these people like want that.
It's so, like it has the ability to reach people now more than
in
ever.
This like little way. Like I'm really right now I'm looking at yellow chair. Like I love yellow chairs. Like there's probably a community of people out there that love yellow chairs.
Oh my god, yes, exactly.
And then you can make a painting with the yellow chairs.
And then I'd be like the yellow chair lady. Yeah. And I remember when I lived in New York City in 2007, right after I graduated college, before having a smartphone or anything. It was my first experience of being like, whoa, I'm in a place where literally anything you're interested in, there's other people interested in it, and there's probably a neighborhood dedicated to it, with shops dedicated to it, and it blew my mind being from Oregon, where we're not as like at that time weren't as plugged in. But now to think like that's amplified more than ever across the whole internet with this connect. I mean, we're out in the country running a Wi-Fi connection. Someone in Europe's gonna watch this in a bit, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm inspired by a little bit of your story." It's exciting.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah. I mean, I think it's also like a little freeing because like I'll sometimes watch my students work, like in particular, a lot of them are really into gaming and I'm not. And I'll watch their video and I'm like, like I don't understand.
Right.
And then there'll be like 4 students in my classroom and like, that's so amazing. I'm like, it is. And it's like just
their peers get what's amazing about their work.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's that they are super fans, like on this line of like the yellow chairs, like they love yellow chairs.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
So
it's
like
not necessarily
there's an audience almost for
anything
now.
Yes. Cool. That's like as a I'm a teacher on my own platform here, and I've always felt like there's room for everyone. And actually the party gets better when people start to really do their work and make, what did you call it? The thing that I don't know what it is that Mark made a film about?
Oh, it's an author.
Oh, okay.
Lovecraft.
So there's the H.P. Lovecraft, bring that to the party. There's, your documentary about rowing in pumpkins. Bring that to the party. I think that once we start to just, use whatever medium it is, video making or pottery or talking, we start to find our voice and then be able to tell our stories and contribute that to the zeitgeist, and then everybody has a better time. Because they can find their people. So
I mean, I think if you want to win an Oscar and be a Hollywood director, that's a different trajectory
for your filmmaking students.
But on the same note, Everything Everywhere All at Once, that was amazing. Those guys started in a very, what I call like scrappy filmmaking way. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, let's gather our friends. I have this cool idea. Let's go. I don't know if anyone saw the editor that won. His speech was like, this is my second feature.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so, I remember when he not the editor, but the guy,
Daniel,
Daniel, the Daniels,
Yeah.
Accepted the award and was like, you know, it was like, we wanted to do this differently. We wanted to bring everybody in, and like everybody on set was like so committed to this story, to telling this story of, which was really fun to think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could get into we could do an episode just about that film.
About the Daniels.
Yeah. Cool. Amazing. Cool. Well, my wish for you by coming on this show and having the chance to talk about your work and take a break from like momming or doing all the professoring is that you have a chance to like speak it into life with an audience. And so I heard you kind of allude to it or say it earlier. If you want to say it again, like what you desire.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I've been very documentary focused because in a lot of ways, it's, I mean, I'm going to say that it might be offensive to documentary filmmakers, even though I am one. But like in some ways, it's not as brave as pulling a story from yourself.
Does it feel like it's more vulnerable to pull a story from yourself?
Even though I feel like this story that I'm going to tell isn't actually coming directly, it's like also coming to me.
It was offered to you to make.
It's also about motherhood, which I'm very familiar with.
Yes.
So I think in some ways you're like, when you're making documentaries, I'm like, oh, I'm telling the story of that person over there.
Right.
And I'm putting it on screen, and you're like bringing your judgments and your feelings and whatever you may have as an audience to their story.
But it's not about you as much.
But I'm like, I'm pulling a story out that's coming about some of my life experience. Yes. And there's more vulnerability in that. And I think it requires a little more bravery, maybe, in my mind, to bring that to life. And so I guess what I'm hoping for in this next feature is to just be brave about it. Yeah.
So what you're speaking into action is courage, like bravery is that comes as your assistance. Yeah.
Cool.
Rad. I love that for you.
Thanks.
Totally. And I can help you stay in motion. Like my kind of viewpoint is that like half of everything is like walking through the perspective of confidence and being willing to stay in state. I want to make this more personal story that feels vulnerable. I need more bravery. That's like you're courageous doing this on the show. And what it might bring up is like then you walk around and you're in the perspective of doubt and who am I to do this and it's gonna suck and no one's gonna like it, right? But how we practice bravery is simply like continuing to move or to ask for help to continue to roll us along until we get back into confidence, and it never ends basically. So if you're feeling scared, it's probably a sign that it's actually gonna be awesome. Totally.
I mean, I believe in art too, so even if I believe in the process. So even if it is not have a big audience, it's like, I tell my students that all the time, you know, like even art that I think is bad, it's important to create it because the process of it is almost more important than the end.
Right.
Sometimes.
For us.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. The process of, I mean, I think so too. And honestly, I think we're not necessarily in charge of how successful it is when that art goes to live its life in the world. We're like, I always feel like I'm responsible for the self-expression piece.
Yeah.
And having the courage to let the world have it. Although I don't judge if people want to stay in the self-expression realm. That is a very valid place to be. But I like to play in those two realms of like self-expression, letting the world have it, but then it goes and has its own relationship, kind of like our kids will, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the money piece, which is essentially just like, what kind of business do we want to run, or what are we willing to do or put up with? And that's a little bit out of our hands as well.
Totally. Was it? I think it's Elizabeth Gilbert's book, and I think it's the Magic one. Where
Big Magic.
Was it that one? Where she was like,
you don't owe me.
Well, I'm thinking this. She was talking about like creative success. Like there's like an old lady that lives in like a mansion on the hill, and she's like, how about I'll let you through? You know, I mean, I may be botching it, but like that's what I took from it. It's sometimes it's like, you guy over there, come on up, and it doesn't even have to do with your like
the quality of your art skill necessarily, or
even
how much connection and impact the art makes out in the world. there's a lot of randomness to it.
Mhm.
There's like solid little businesses we can set
Yeah.
up, but yeah, a lot of it is out of our control.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the Art Friends Show.
Of course.
Thanks for checking out this realm and
Thanks for listening to me.
Daria Matza. Rattle off a couple places they can find you online, and then
I know I'm not
because in Instagram I can't link out, but once I publish it as a
I don't
podcast, I
do
can.
social media anymore, but
We love that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can find Rise of the Giants trailer online and the
Rise
movie
of
on
the Giants.
soon. Yep, Rise of the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a movie on PBS
Yeah, that's
called
right.
Marta's Gift that I produced and edited. You can check that out. It's on OPB Online, and I think it's broadcasting right now too. So yeah,
Amazing.
check it out.
Yeah, and then we can find your ceramics sometimes around Portland when you feel like it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because that's
Awesome.
my hobby. Yeah.
and because
Cool.
it is perfectly fine to keep some of
exactly.
it for ourselves. Okay, mwah. Without further ado, we're gonna go.
Make sure children are happy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching the Art Friends Show. I'd love to have you inside of Art Friends School, where we go deeper into these topics. Follow the link that's in the show notes or find it on my website at annamieka.com.